Hey, welcome to episode of Beers, Jack, and Barbecue. So, I'm Craig, man behind the camera's Jack. If you've been watching our channel for a while, you kind of know we've done tomahawks on different grills, and when we got the SNS Kettle, we actually had some Wagyu, so that's what we chose to cook on first. Normally, we like to kind of at one point put the tomahawks on the new grill and kind of christen it and do all those nice things, but tomahawks were hard to find as well this year, so I had two in the freezer from last year and broke them out. We're going to get the SNS Kettle going. We're going to do them indirect till they get to probably about 110, 115, and then we're going to sear them off. So take a look at those babies. Like I said, it's been hard to find this year, but again, have these from last year. I did hit it with not just for beef, since I salt brined them yesterday. So they've been salt brined for 24 hours, and just about an hour ago I hit them with a little bit of this, not just for beef, going to let that soak in, and we'll get the cook going. So looking forward to having these big bad boys on that grill and getting a good sear. We'll see you on the grill. All right, let's get these nice big steaks on. I'll be calling them tomahawks, and honestly, they're more like a cowboy just because of the length of the bone is how that goes. But I like to call them tomahawks, and that's what I'm sticking with. I'm going to probe them the whole time. Just so I can get accurate readings. Like I said, we're going to let these go till it gets to about probably around 75, 80. And then we'll flip them again just to promote even heat. So we'll bring it back when they get to the 75, 80 degree mark. Have the grill running right now around 300. That's where I want to keep it before I crank it up to get a sear at the end. All right, so one just went past 75 degrees, so I wanted to take a peek at them and kind of switch them around, twist them a little bit. Like I said, promote even cooking. This one here is only about just below 70 at this point yet, but this is the one that reached that other temperature. So we're gonna let them go to, this one's probably gonna come off first for a little bit while it rests until this one gets the temperature we need before we start searing them off. So we'll bring it back when this one gets to about 110-ish. And then I'll probably bring it off the rest until that one comes up to temperature. All right, gonna pull the one off for now. We just hit 112 with it. So we'll let it get that ready to go. I'm gonna let it rest. Let the other one come up till it gets to about 110, 112 as well. And then we'll pull that one off, and I'll get the fire nice and hot so we can sear them off. All right, so now the other one just hit temperature, just like I said, 112. Get that probe out. We'll get the fire nice and hot, and we'll start searing these off. All right, so we let the grill get up to temperature a little bit more. We'll start searing them off. Gonna go a minute aside, flip them, minute aside, flip, minute aside, you know the deal. All right, there's the first minute. All right, time for a flip. All right, hopefully this will be the last one. It's looking good. Promoting some of this heat, I want to just really get the fire cranking here. All right, I think we're going to be done, but I might just put this one back on just for a little bit more sear. Yeah, that one's looking good. That one just needs a little bit more, maybe 30 seconds, and we'll be good. That looks good. All right, we're gonna let these rest good 10 minutes, and then we'll cut into them and show you what it tastes like, or let you know what it tastes like. As always, cheers. So here we are, into the cook. Nice big tomahawks, technically cowboys because of the length of the bone, but again, I like to call them tomahawks. That's how they were sold too. Had the SNS kettle fired up. Salt brined them yesterday for 24 hours till today. Put some, not just for beef, an SNS product there as well, on it about 2 hours before the cook. Had the grill running, it was actually running about 350 when I first started, but had to come down to about 300 to do the indirect side. When this one got to about 75, I actually turned them. This one got to 110 or 112 first. This one I was only lagged behind by about 3 minutes. So got them both to about 112, pulled them off, got the fire pretty hot. Don't know if we're gonna show it or not, but I used some bellows to try to get the fire even hotter for searing. Seared them a minute aside, each side 2 times. This one went like 30-second extra just to get that little bit extra sear, just because I didn't like the way it looked at the time. So gonna cut into it, see what it looks like, and take a nice taste. Boy, is that nice and tender. Oh, that looks like a nice medium rare. That's gonna be a good steak. I know somebody commented about me taking a cut off the side being like the well done area. Well, honestly, I'm doing it just because I don't want to be cutting into the middle of the steak. So take a nice taste of got a little bit of the cap here. Super tender. The fat had a little bit of crust on it. Definitely tastes the salt brine and some of the flavors out of this a little bit, not sweet, but the garlic, the onion, those type of things coming off the not just for beef. So it looks like we got a real nice steak for dinner tonight. So can't wait to dig into this thing. So like we're seeing, subscribe to the channel, click the little bell, get notifications, and we'll see you next time. One thing I did want to mention too, we are an SNS affiliate, so anything you want to buy from SNS, use our link that's already in the show description, and it just helps the channel out to do more things like we're doing now. So see you next time.